What's going on, y'all? Dave Robinson here with Work Your Stories Wednesday for round 2 with the Adam Chin of Vocabulary and Enlifted on the aux. Now, we ended the last show with a quote by José Mourinho, the great football, soccer manager of a number of different clubs. And Jose and I have a very, as we just talked about identity, like I know this guy. Jose and I have a very, very long-standing, and complicated relationship as a Chelsea football fan, right? Chelsea Football Club fan. The winningest coach in Chelsea history, multiple titles on 2 different stints with the club. But Jose is a very particular individual, and he can and has rubbed a lot of people a lot of different ways. My man Adam here fucking loves this guy.
Worship him.
Loves him. So, what is it about the manager, Jose Mourinho, that you love so much? What are the many things?
Okay, so I'm certain a few of your viewers are going to know about Vocabulary and Lifted, and we're the stuff that Mark and I have built, and that's all about using architect language. So a lot of those things include staying away from negations, which is don't, not, can't, that kind of stuff. Jose uses a ton of those, okay? His language is outside of the system that we use, okay? All that said, sometimes you're so damn good. You're so driven. The vision is so damn clear that you can overcome anything. Language, story, whatever. And quite honestly, his story is so pure and so dialed in. He visualized that he was going to win the 3 biggest leagues in the world, the 3 biggest soccer leagues in the world, okay? Spain, Italy, England. He did them all. He did them all, okay? How can one top something like that? He's so damn inspiring, man. He's just the best. He's the best. He's got the winner's gaze. You look at his eyes, and he's just looking, and you can see the victory. And he's sizing people up, and he's looking around. He can see what needs to be done next. He's playing the long game all the time. I think he's my favorite guy right now.
He's a team builder, and he's a galvanizer. And, obviously to succeed in anything at that highest of levels, you've got to be sound in the fundamentals, right? And tactically, he is called a genius. And personal opinion, I think he's an asshole. I think that there are, I think he relishes being the underdog, even though he's often not the underdog. I think he relishes being the bad guy almost. And it's like when the bully is protecting you, he's the fucking man, right? It's like, yeah, that's my fucking guy. But when the bully is not, protecting you, and then you don't like him anymore. And I think, for me, Jose, first round with Chelsea, when things were really good, it was good. It sours. He sours everywhere he goes. It turns, his welcome is, I don't know.
Sour?
Soured,
like
yes.
Sour grapes. The fact that the guy elevated your squad to one of the great teams in Europe, and all you can do is complain about him. I got it. Let me just drop this real quick. If you haven't watched the Netflix series, Dave, what's the series name, please? Remind me. I think it's called The Playbook. It's called...
it might be The Playbook. Playing Coaches, The Playbook?
Yeah.
The Playbook, something like that.
If you just search Coaches on Netflix, this will come up. It's like a 6-part series. They got some great coaches. Doc Rivers, who now is the coach of the Sixers. There's a bunch of great coaches.
Don Staley.
Jill
Ellis.
Yeah, shout out to Don Staley, Gamecocks. Anyways, Jose's one of them. And he tells a story in this documentary about how his relatively small championship team from Portugal.
Very small.
Very small. Called FC Porto. Okay, this is his first gig. They got into the Champions League, which is the top level of European soccer, top level of soccer in the world for clubs, for FCs, so to speak.
It's true.
And he gets in there, and there's a slight chance slight chance their first draw is going to be the behemoth, Manchester United. Okay? As a non-football fan, footy fan, you'll likely know who Manchester United is. David Beckham, Wayne Rooney, the list goes on and on. Legendary squad. So he knows this, Jose. He knows his little, David team is going to potentially get Goliath. And if they get Goliath, what will happen? They're going to get the morale crushed, So what's he do? Story work 101, okay? Reframes it. Reframes the story. He immediately, long before the draw, starts planting the seeds into his team's heads. He says, you want Man United. You want to get that in the draw. You want to face them because that's the draw you're meant to have. That's your destiny. Okay? So you flip the script completely. 100%. We want them. So pray that we get them in the draw. What happens? They get them in the draw. And are they despondent? Do they all mope? Oh, we're going to get crushed. No, they're so amped up. Now, what do they want to do? They want to go into Man United's territory and crush him. And over the 2 games in the group stage, correct, Dave?
Yep.
They win both games. They win the first game, they tie the second game, go to the next stage.
Yep.
Never been done before.
Yep.
Okay. Huge deal.
Huge deal.
Story work. Anyways, that's all he does. He's just some asshole, like Dave said. He's an asshole.
He's a wonderful coach. He's a fantastic coach. He does have a very specific use of words. He uses his words in a manner that gets people to pay attention because he's direct. He's very direct. He doesn't use soft talk. He's it very well may be a cultural difference. He had mentioned in that same documentary that his people in Portugal were hardworking coastal people, and it was the elements were tough, and it's just we like to get stuck in, as they say, right?
Dave, you're backpedaling, man. Admit it. Jose Mourinho is God. He is God. He is the greatest human being that we've ever produced as a species. Let's just admit it right here and now, man.
Tottenham fan.
Jose fan. Hey, my wife has got Jose Mourinho's picture on her Apple Watch face, okay? And you know what? Jealousy? No. Pride? Yes. Yes.
He's done the story work. He's done the work.
Absolutely.
What would you tell someone what would you suggest to them as a takeaway from Jose that they could potentially use? A takeaway from the way he shows up, a takeaway from how he coaches. What is something that somebody could glean from that?
He said it in the documentary. He said, if you're not prepared for the worst, you're not prepared. Play the game out several ways. Visualize it, see it. And he says it again in the other documentary on Amazon, All or Nothing. Stay positive. You got to stay positive because all those ways it can play out, the good way is possible. It is, even if it seems insurmountable. And this guy's playing at the highest stakes. Mm-hmm. And he does it over and over again because he's staying focused on that positive output. So plan for the worst and then stay focused on that positive. To me, and you know what? And shoot for the stars because that guy is shooting for the highest level. It's a cliche. Shoot for the stars. What's the worst case?
Land on the moon.
Something like that. You and I both bungled that, and you get it, right? Aim high, go for it, and be positive. It's so trite. It's so hackneyed because it works.
Cliches are cliches for a reason.
Cliches are cliches for a reason. True. Yeah.
Dude,
thanks, Dave.
This was rad.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on the Aux Work Your Stories Wednesdays. I'm Dave Robinson. That's Adam Chin. See you next week.